Hello and welcome to the Super Business Women Show here on Intellectual Radio. It's your girl CEO Lexi, all things couture, and I'm joined here with.
Hi, happy Saturday, beautiful people. It's Shar Unlocks Love, Loans, and Lifestyle. We're welcoming to the show Latoya Stampley from Stampley Tech
And Management
LLC.
Welcome to the Super Business Women Show, Latoya. How are you feeling this beautiful Saturday?
I'm well. Mom, a wife, so it takes some effort to get up on the weekend.
Oh, you were trying to sleep in today, huh?
Do you sleep in with children?
Well, you said it took some effort to get up, so I'm like, the kids, if they not waking you up, then maybe you sleeping in. So
yeah, so my daughter has a summer cold or a spring cold. I think it's the allergy, so it's the effort is making sure she's okay before I leave out of the house. So that's
understandable.
That's it. But no, I'm well. Very happy to be here. Happy for you all to have me. Crystal has told me lots of great things about the show. And sometimes I see her, she's rewatching. so happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
So I am Latoya Stampley, the founder of Stampley Technology and Management. Am I looking at here? Oh, where we go? Okay,
look everywhere.
Just talking.
Okay,
just having conversation.
Okay. So I'm an IT professional by trade. About 20. I'm starting to just say over 20 years because I think it starts to age you. But over 20 years of experience in the industry. I started in the Air Force in Intel, Signals Intelligence. Had a top secret security clearance, very young, too young to understand what that meant, and kind of found my way in cybersecurity. I've worked for McDonald's, Aldi, the state inspector general, and I've always had a passion for the community. And so after doing all that and kind of establishing those enterprise level IT skills, technology skills, I wanted to be able to find a way to bridge the gap in our communities. And I'm not a front lines person. I'm kind of really introverted and behind the scenes. So the way I did that was starting to work with small businesses to get their infrastructure in place so they could focus on privacy and security. So they're not losing the businesses because somebody has hacked it. I'm sure you all with the social media know, like if somebody hacks your social media account, you lose it. And now basically you have to start over, especially if you're monetized. It takes a lot.
So if someone hacks us, can you get us our page back?
I can probably pull some strings to get your page back. But what I really want to do is get you in a space where somebody can't hack you.
Gotcha.
So if somebody is set on hacking you, they are going to. Like if they have set out, Shar, I want to get in your business. It doesn't take much. I could just maybe call a couple of your friends that know a little bit about you. What high school you went to? What's your mascot? Those security questions that we put in those Facebook games.
Oh, I don't play those games.
We've seen that. That is crazy. And people are giving up all their personal information.
What's your favorite city?
Right.
How many children do you have? The last one last week was your birthplace in your family tells a lot about you. No,
don't tell
Does
I said it sounds like a security question to me.
They are. A lot of those games are Facebook.
What's your the last four of the number you were growing up with? The phone number. Are you guys ridiculous?
Yeah, if you remember
with
your
that?
childhood number.
Oh,
Like,
it's
What
ridiculous.
block did you grow
Right.
on? Rep your city.
What's your first car?
Yeah, those things. All those things. What city have you gone? Put a star by all the places you've gone. And what's your favorite?
Part of it is I'm a little lazy with that.
So I'm just not doing it.
And then I don't like intrusive things. I don't like it. Although I am in the industry to probe, I don't like to be probed. And I don't do it in my personal life.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yes. So I'm having to be a little better about it, which is why I'm here. But I'm very private. And so people don't know a whole lot about me. It's on social media. Now, if you and I are friends, I'm very transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's really not much you can not ask me.
Well, that is controlled. I had this friend who told me I did this and I found out this about you and I found out that about you. How intrusive and disrespectful.
Yeah, it is. I had one of my last positions, I was working with JLL on a contract, and they do like commercial real estate. And one of the managers said, "You don't have many social media pictures." Like, he Googled me to find pictures. And that's not, it's first of all not ethical, but I was just weirded out by it. I obviously don't put a whole lot on social media because I know how much they use that, especially working in the government. There's so many ways to draw connections. So I have a friend that's always on apps, very close friend. She's almost like a sister. So even though I'm not on social media, all somebody has to do to triangulate where I go is follow her.
Absolutely.
So I don't even have to be on social media for people to understand that. The emojis that people use for selling food stamps and buying weed, all those things, they are tracing those in apps.
Would somebody please tell these people?
So those are the kind of things. I obviously do that kind of social media literacy, those kind of workshops, but for the most part, I'm trying to get businesses in places where they aren't in situations where they can be hacked and that information be stolen. Or, like, if you are posting on your personal page, you now understand that your personal page is your brand. So what you post about your family now becomes everybody's business.
Absolutely.
If you want it separate, create a separate page, because once you put it out there, you're inviting people to have an opinion. And the repercussions of that stuff doesn't go away. Deleting things. I know people think that Snapchat is safe because it deletes.
No, I just had this conversation was it last week with your guest? He said it was a pedophile's night, a dream. And I said, no, it kind of doesn't disappear. Law enforcement is able to recover.
Absolutely. So I did computer forensics. So, the law enforcement can recover it. Some of the apps only law enforcement can get, but yes, once you delete that stuff, it's still on the hard drive in what's called the unallocated space. And with the right app, I can get that stuff very quickly. So, it's not. People think the incognito browser and those things work. They work for the layman, but somebody that knows what they're doing, they can get that stuff very quickly.
It just goes to show you, they're pulling up text messages from 2006, 2007 in the Diddy trial. Mm-hmm. That goes to show you that what capabilities the government have in recovering information.
Yeah. Anything. So there's some pages you can go to, and I can't recall it off the top of my head, that you can go to for web pages that used to exist. I have it in some notes, but basically they are recording what was on web pages, and you could just go there and put the information in, and it will show you what was there before. So if they're doing that for web pages, you think they're not doing
right?
It.
Absolutely.
And then some regulations require that you store stuff. I mean, I think you all are probably familiar with HIPAA. You go to the doctor, they have you sign all those papers. Well, HIPAA regulations require that you have that data stored, it's data retention, that they retain that data for 7 years, at least 6 years. So most people err on the 7-year. Government sometimes is in the 10-year mark. So some of them have regulations to store the data, and some just never get rid of it. You have the data hoarders that's just never getting rid of it.
So do you focus mainly on businesses or like individuals as well? Like,
I mostly focus on businesses. I don't have so I'm mostly working with businesses. Individuals usually can't afford the rates.
So, well, I was thinking as far as like if you have somebody like a content creator, and technically they are a business, yes. But it's still an individual to an extent.
So like a self-employed,
yeah.
yes, so that's a business to me. Some people just want to be self-employed. I have an employee, and my idea is not to be the solopreneur. It's heavy. It's a heavy lift. It's draining. You can't take breaks.
You're preaching. We know.
There's a lot to carry as a solopreneur, and your customers suffer when you're not well. You should be able to have some time off.
That's
So
fair.
your customers suffer. And so I want the business to support the community. So it can't only be me. I also don't necessarily like, I should say, I'm not a fan of the leadership that focuses like in a dictatorship. So what I mean by that is, if I'm not passing this information on, it dies with me. And I want everybody to grow and learn. So the goal is that I'm sharing it with somebody that can continue to push the message forward. Because if we don't secure our businesses, it's going to be very easy for somebody to come in and steal it.
So speaking of, what are some preventative tips that you would give out to our listeners that are business owners or businesses, as far as protecting themselves and their business on social media?
I would say the first thing is to set up, if there is an option, and most of them do have it now, to set up the strong password. Used to be about 8 characters. I say do like some type of phrase if you need to change letters into numbers or symbols, but maybe about 15 characters. 8 characters is just not enough. It's really easy and quick to just kind of run through a password generator to hack that. Then after that, I would say add the 2-factor or multi-factor authentication. So you can use an authenticator app, Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, I would say stay kind of away from the text message. If you don't have an option, it's still better than nothing. Text messages, I say stay away from that because it's not very hard to do a SIM swap for somebody to now get your phone number and now put it on something. So if all your your multi-factor is set up on your phone and to text you, and somebody has done a SIM swap, then now all of your verification codes are going to that person that's hacked your phone.
So what should
the multi-factor?
The multi-factor.
So I would say the first one, the best would be the Authenticator app. Okay. So Microsoft has one, Google has one. There are other ones, but those are kind of the ones that you want to stick with.
I like those too because sometimes they make you use another device. So if you have multiple devices,
So those are the two I would say. Then have an email account that you don't give to everybody as the backup.
Okay.
Because if somebody hacks and your email is connected to that phone number, have an email account that you don't have on everything.
And that's not public.
Yes. That only you and a few other people know. Okay. Because then obviously it will be somewhere on your phone, but it's still that if it's hacked, somebody is deliberately targeting you. It's not something that you will put out publicly.
You got to use those embarrassing Yahoos from when you were a teenager.
Something like that.
I still have AOL.
Right.
I still have Hotmail. I don't use it much, but hey, whatever works. I don't judge in terms of technology. I just want to make sure that it's safe. Like I just want to make sure that you all have the things in place, and just understanding that security is not privacy. So just because something is secure does not mean that they are protecting your privacy. Those two things, there is a line. So, just think about, I use analogies a lot. So think about, you lock your car door, that secures the car, or you lock your house door, your doors are at home, and you lock your windows, but you may not close the blinds. It's not privacy, right? So then you may put tint on your windows for the privacy, but if you don't put tint, people can see. But the doors are still locked, so the car is still secure. However, just like I said, if somebody wants to get in, they can get in.
They're going to get in.
So I'm sure, like with law enforcement, they say like at least make it hard for them, right? So if they want to get in and they are lazy, they're going to move to the easier target.
Yeah, a deterrent.
Yes.
I find it super frustrating to deal with the authentication apps and the multiple. Like,
I do too.
It's annoying, but I understand the purpose of it, because you'll get those random messages sometimes, or those emails that'll say, if you're trying to reset your password, it's just like, I'm not trying to reset anything.
Those are phishing emails, and they want you to click on it to put your information in. So you have to know, I didn't do that. And you have to be smart enough to know.
So one of my family members yesterday called me in a tizzy. was it Thursday?
Not a tizzy.
Oh my God, it was a tizzy. Tears tizzy. And they're saying that they had a warrant out for their arrest, and because they didn't do something, the election. So I had to, So you sent back so I said, in Cook County? I was like, well, there's no service, so they don't know if you got it or not. And they were like, no, you don't understand. They knew my profession. I said, it's Googleable. They Googled you. And so I said, send me. So after 10 minutes of me talking them down and assuring them, if something really was wrong, do you think I would be this calm? Or, that kind of thing. Because they're telling them it's $2,000, it's civil, or you have to turn yourself into local police department. Well, they sent an email and a text, and the text had some information in it. So I was able to call the number, but of course they put this wonderful number up. Thank you for calling the Cook County Sheriff's Department. You've reached to schedule a visit with an inmate. First of all, I told her that should have been the red sign right there. I told my family member that should have been the red flag there. Mm-hmm. In the county, you ain't scheduling no darn meeting with no inmate. You go down there and, wait. Nothing here in Cook County government is scheduled. He answered the phone, and of course I read him the riot act, but yeah, and he called back from a 404 area code. So he's terrorizing from like an Atlanta number.
Yeah, I've seen an uptick in those messages, and we see it on social media as far as the Illinois tollway. Mm-hmm. I got one the other day from like the DMV, and it was like, you have to pay this fine or we're going to take your license. And I'm like, why would the DMV text you?
They almost got me with the Illinois tollway though, because I have my account linked.
Pay them toll, Shar.
No, it's linked. It's automatically linked. So every time I go through a toll,
you get
it comes out of my account, and I get a notification that my toll's been paid.
But does the tollway text you?
No, they
see
don't.
That's the red flag right there. Yeah.
So I wasn't thinking. So I was like, "What you mean they didn't pay my toll?"
She's about to cut out the Illinois tollway.
I mean.
And I almost clicked on the link because I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah. And I think if you're busy or you're doing something else and that pops up and it's something that you could definitely fall victim to that really quickly.
I mean, just think about, those are the lazier kind of bad actors is what I'll call them.
Yeah, we call
They're
them
just waiting for the person to be overly multitasking, because most of the time I have theory about multitasking, but anyway.
We're the queens of multitask.
So but you're not focused, right? And so when you're doing multiple things, you're not focused. You're trying to get something done very quickly, and the most efficient people are usually the biggest culprits of clicking on those things. Like you say, I pay my bills. Don't send me a message.
Yeah, I was like,
she's offended. That's why.
Like, and so that is it. Or somebody send a message and say, take care of this. Let me take care of it now, because if I put this down, I may not look at this. So that's usually why it's the most productive people. What I tell a lot of companies is I do phishing exercises. So I send those emails out. Usually the most productive employees are the ones that click. The lazy employee didn't see it till 2 days later, and the word that got around. Right? The most
I have absolutely no comment.
I really don't check my email that often. Some of them I do, and some of them I have pop up, so I might fall under a little bit of both of that. But
if you click on it, though, what I want you to know is they are usually just trying to use those credentials because they are on the lazier side. Just quickly go and change your password and put credit freeze just for the average person. Freeze your credit if you need to unthaw it, or they call it unfreeze or thaw it. Then do that for.
Oh gosh, I forgot the password to my son's credit when I froze it, and they had to mail something out because oh my God,
it's a nightmare.
Irritated with me. I'm like, I don't remember.
So use a password manager. That will help. Apple, if you have Samsung, Android. Okay, I'm not gonna judge you.
I have an Apple.
We do. We judge her.
Yeah. I have both for professional.
I do too, but I prefer the Android because I know my way around the Android.
Okay, I see. I understand the personal preference. Android, it's a little more open. Apple locks their stuff down a lot better. So if you're going to use a password app and not pay for one, I think the Apple password app is good. Outside of that, professionally, Keeper is good. They can all be hacked. They can all have breaches, but Keeper is
Girl.
one pass. I'm not advertising for these companies, but those are options.
I'm irritated at the fact that we have to go through this.
Well, so security, I think people want the convenience of freedom, but there is a price for it.
Absolutely.
So we want security, but we want it with the least amount of inconvenience.
No, I want them to get the bad actors, and I want them to punish them, and so that we can live in a society that we don't have to worry about that kind of thing. But that's just me wishful thinking.
I mean, it is wishful, and you
thinking.
want to be able to move around freely and without penalty.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
So just put some parameters around your information so that you can continue to.
Well, at work
they had us in America.
They had us expand our freaking password, I think, to either 14 or 16 characters.
That's the safe space,
and then you have to add certain things, characteristics to it. Then you need the
two-factor authentication.
You need that, and then you have to change it every other month. Like
now they're going. So the standards are kind of going to passwordless because people are still writing down, regardless of how many different ways we say don't write down your passwords, don't carry them. People are still writing them down. So now they are still there. I mean, there are some apps that are moving to passwordless authentication. So
it's called what?
Passwordless, LESS.
So how do you get passwordless
authentication apps?
Girl. What about those things? I forgot what they're called. They're like little, like they look like
tokens.
Yeah, those things when the
hardware tokens,
and it constantly switches like scrambles the numbers and stuff.
Hardware tokens.
Yeah, those are pretty
cool. Those are cool. They didn't take off like they thought they would.
How do you use those?
It just constantly scrambles
generator.
a password. So that's what you have to put in to log in.
I think I need one of those.
Some banks will still send them out. Not many. Because you don't really need it as much because the authentication apps do that. They have the number generator. But before the authentication apps, that was the only way to get that random number.
But then people would lose those.
And then the battery died and those things. So
there's always a con to the pros.
It's a stressor to use for convenience. It's stressful for convenience.
It is. But
because I don't have time to be remembering all these passwords. And little do they know, whatever my password is, I'm just going to be like 1, 2.
They know that.
Yeah.
So I built it. So my companies, I don't even allow that. You cannot add a number or a symbol to that last password that you had because that is not safe. It doesn't take much for me to predict that. God. I can see the pattern. If it's just a 2, that means in 30 days it's gonna be 3. It's not hard to predict.
I like to make easier passwords for the simple things. So things that don't store like your shopper's card or like Jewel or something like that.
But once you have access to that, you can get information from that in order to get into something else.
So people think that's simple, but
if it's not connected to anything else, like if I don't have my credit card,
a shopper's card, don't they follow your your spending pattern? Yes. That's very important. Like your data, like those commercials. Yeah. So
she buys carrots in a crazy amount. What's wrong with this girl?
So they're following your patterns. And once I learn what appeals to you, then that's how I target you. Once I learn, marketing, I guess I say, working for McDonald's, the marketing. So they say data is gold. Why you are?
I'm laughing because I have ADHD and I actually really make fun of when I'm on social media and the things that they put, because pops up, they never make sense because it's usually the people that are around me that are searching things or saying things because I look up so much randomness. I'm all over the place. So even with my shopping habits, I'm a vegan. Okay. So, but I don't shop primarily vegan. So
that's the problem.
All over the place.
I shop for everybody else in the house.
I am all over the place. Yes. Like it's very sporadic. So I guess that's a
So,
plus for me.
I
For the
have
vegans,
apps
no.
that can tell me just based on I say they're called CRMs. You all
Mhm.
familiar with Salesforce,
Mhm.
HubSpot, those
Yes.
Right,
apps.
right, right.
Those apps are using like everybody's saying algorithms, but they're aggregating data from multiple platforms. Like so they're looking at the data, your data from everywhere. But I also have some apps that I can just pull your profile and say how I should appeal to you. Are
Hmm.
you more social? Do you need me to be very direct? Are you into the small talk? Because it can tell based on how you respond to messages for somebody when they DM you. Do you respond to the ones that
I
So-
when I had the mortgage company, I had a marketing company that would tell me when we would call a customer or send something out how to deal with them, what
Mhm.
kind of person they were. And they had labeled them so we would know.
Mhm.
So she's absolutely correct, and that was years
So
ago.
that data is very
Expensive.
helpful. It's expensive. Yes, it is expensive. The marketing companies, the amount of
So
money
it's
they
used.
spend on
So
that
it's
stuff.
used for marketing, but is that like what hackers are using as well? Because then they can be like, okay, well, I know she shops at Jewel, so I'm going to send her a text from Jewel. Like, is that what they're
That's
doing?
possible. So sometimes when it ends up on the dark web, you just don't know how they're going to use it.
Okay.
Most of the time, they say if you have done all the things like lock your credit, remove your data, what they call data brokers. If you remove your information from the data brokers, the public service, the searches,
Mhm.
if you remove that and you get you're starting to get text messages again. It's usually because your information has been on the dark web.
But I read New York Times about a year ago. Everybody's information at some point would end up on the dark web.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Everybody.
Absolutely. I've Apple sends if you go into the password app, it will tell you your information. This password has been on the dark
I got
web.
an email to my. I got an email saying that some stuff had ended up. I'm like, yeah, I get these a couple times a month. Like,
Yeah. So what they're using it for, you just never know. And some of these companies are playing the long game. They may, I mean, I can't tell you. I read enough about it, I understand enough about it, and I follow enough of the communities to know that they will play the long game. They may not operate for years. They may just hold the data.
during COVID, I'm at work and a group of us, people have filed unemployment claims and got lots of money from us while we're at work.
Wow.
So I was working at the inspector general there, and that was something that they were investigating. But some of the employees there were they were using their information. So
They used ours.
happens.
That's not very bright of a hacker, honestly, though, because you would think, well, they got the money, right? So,
No, I was on the phone.
so that's
yeah.
only part
That's
point.
all they want.
That's all that
That's all
matters.
they
They don't
want.
care
Yeah,
when you
they're-
work.
so-
You're
so,
working
yeah.
for the people that
They
are
didn't do a whole lot
fighting
of
this.
research on it.
Right.
Yeah, they sent it to me, and I'm like, yeah. And then, of course, you couldn't get in touch with the Illinois Department
Right,
of
yeah.
Employment or
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
it
no.
is. No, you tried to call, and it was like a nightmare. So
Try to go to the office.
yeah. No, I
No,
was
I'm
just like,
saying
let me file
try.
a police report and I'll deal with
Yeah.
it whenever they decide to answer their phones. But actually, my employer took care of it because it wasn't just me; it was a lot of us.
Wow, that's crazy.
And they just want the money. Most of the time, it's going into an account that is not easily traceable. I am on the side of the government can figure it out if they want to, but sometimes it makes it a little difficult, especially once it goes into the cryptocurrency.
So they have to also understand this: when they outsource things to other countries or other places, how do you know? Of course, your information is going to end up on the dark web.
Yeah, agreed.
Just local government sources out some stuff that people have access to: your Social Security, your pensions, your children's Social Security number. So it's. I'm not surprised that it did.
So much. So kind of. I'm scatterbrained as well. So back so you were saying that you have ADHD and like all. So even that, me knowing that you kind of operate in that space, AT&T, AOL, remember AOL
I
years
have it,
ago?
yeah.
You've got mail, all that stuff. They have they were able to stay profitable from the data they collected 20, 30 years ago, still able to sell that data with people's shopping habits and marketing information. Most of the apps that we use, we think are free. We are the product because they are platforms for people to market to us. They're practically giving TVs away for free because they know that they're banners.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're doing that because marketing is what pays for everything. That's NFL, that's everything. So if I use those things, I use Rakuten because I like to save a buck.
What's Rakuten?
Rakuten is basically they give you like 4% off when you shop. If you use their link, they'll give you 4%, 6%, sometimes 15%. If I'm already spending the money and like you, RAKUTN. Here I am advertising RAK. Not RAK. Yeah.
We're gonna need those companies to sponsor here now.
UTN.
We need some sponsorship deals now.
Yes,
we give y'all free shout outs.
But so Rakuten, I mean, there are a couple companies that I think Honey, I think is another one. Capital One has one now. If you want something that's a little more secure, Capital One. But they give you a percentage of the money that you spend, and you're already spending it. So and they're already watching, and that's my opinion. They're already monitoring your shopping patterns. So why not?
Girl, you just came here today and increased my anxiety.
We're spending cash from now on.
Right.
I'm not shopping online.
Yeah. Don't be emailing
cash for my carrots. That's it.
Cash.
Well,
yeah. Well,
listen, I'll take cash for my carrots, and I mean the diamonds.
Okay. If you use the Jewel app, it's still tracing. That's why they're doing
I don't really use it. I use it for the gas off.
I see. I use it for the savings
so I will.
Oh yeah, for the coupons and things.
But the problem is now they've made it so they're gonna know in my profile that I'm a little lazy. The fact that I have to go in and clip the coupon.
Yeah, I won't do that.
Who has time for that?
I do it in the store.
So no, but who has time for all that?
It locks me out. I get locked out of there so much, and I give up. I'm like,
yeah, I'm like, forget it. It used to be where I scan, put my phone number in, it automatically took it off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are they insane now?
I think so.
She said
they're not giving away the money, Char. They're going to make you work for it now.
I don't think
I
they
don't
want
like that.
you to save.
Of course not. If you're going to say never mind, they saved that 50 cents right there. That's back in their pocket.
Char says never mind because I'm not getting ready to fight, figure out, and get locked out and I'm the one that holds up the line because I lock my what do you call that? My bank accounts. So I'm the one holding up the line. People,
at least you're not up there writing a check because that'll get you some words thrown up at you.
Oh, I should try that.
Wow.
Ooh, let somebody make me mad in line. I'm gonna be like, you guys accept checks, and then dig for it for like 5 minutes. Yes.
Well, I mean, depends on how much time I have. For me, I am very frugal, so I will try to save where I can.
I would like to be frugal. Time just doesn't permit.
And if you don't have time and your time is valuable, I say time is like the biggest currency, right? So if you don't have time to clip coupons for 30 minutes to save $3 when 30 minutes could be worth $200. It just depends. It depends.
I have somebody that I love very much that will drive 10 miles to get his $5.
And I will too.
I used to do extreme couponing.
I'm an electric now, but yes,
I did too.
Before COVID, I was an extreme couponer. I had a big stockpile in my basement.
Get the newspapers. Yeah.
Yes. I used to get up and go get the Sunday paper from Dollar Tree because it's a little cheaper. And get a nice Dollar stack Tree, of them and clip my coupons. I had a whole binder for my and everything was organized by hygiene and food and things like that. Yes, I was insane with it.
I think it's. I'm not doing that.
At that time,
not anymore.
It was super beneficial. And then I was glad I'm not going to say that, but when COVID hit, it was really helpful for us because we had a stockpile of things.
So that was me. My garage was full of like cases of water. So I hate buying small things like toilet paper and cleaning supplies. So I buy it in abundance.
Nobody wants to run out of toilet paper now.
Right.
So you all were part of the problem, hoarding toilet paper.
No, I do it anyway.
No.
Like there's 3 boxes in my garage right
see.
now. So I buy it by the case.
The case.
I'm good for the rest of the year. I
Okay.
won't have to think about it. It'll send me a reminder like maybe October.
Okay.
And then I'll go buy another 3 cases. I'm going to buy 10 comets. I don't like buying that kind of stuff.
So I do a lot of shopping at Costco. I was on Costco before, everybody kind of moved, but I do a lot of that shopping at Costco. So it comes in big bulks.
Yeah.
But some things is hard to buy produce in bulk if you don't
Yeah,
have a
no,
large
you
can't do
family.
that.
I don't.
You don't have a large family. That's not.
I don't buy produce in bulk. I normally get it like on the way there.
Well, I think
or-
those things need to be fresh. Like even meat, and I don't eat meat, but I'm not buying it frozen. If I have to prepare it, it's going to be fresh.
I'd say the meat
Listen.
is pretty good, but
My youngest son swears by Costco. He says you can get a hot dog, something else, and something else for 10 bucks.
You can.
So he likes to go there and have lunch like
Yeah.
an old person.
Yes. I think the hot dog and drink is like maybe $3 or something.
That's what he's saying.
But I don't eat the hot dogs are beef. But if you are into it, that's a nice affordable meal.
I don't think he has a preference. I don't eat meat, so I don't think he has a
I
preference.
see.
Yeah.
Well, they have salad.
First of all, I'm not going to Costco for lunch. That's just he's like a young old
I
person.
see. Okay. Well, people go there just for samples.
So
I mean, literally, legit people are there just to eat samples. It drives me nuts.
That's
'cause they
insanity.
hold the lines up.
So
Get a full meal. Give me 20 minutes.
I'm full when I leave out this store.
I mean, they hold the aisles up. Really are blocking the aisles, but they definitely.
It's only
are
like
there.
a piece this big.
It's not much, but hey, you can keep going back for those little.
But they
cups.
stand in the way of everyone else that is
Yes.
driven to get what they're there
I've
for and
already
get
said
out.
my time is money, right? So I don't have that much
time is
for you.
currency. Yes, and you holding up the aisle.
So what I do with
Yes.
Sam's Club, because I don't do Costco, I do Sam's Club.
I like Sam's Club too.
They have scan and go.
Mhm.
So as I'm walking around, I'm shopping and I'm scanning, and then I pay, and then I walk right out. So I'm because lines and meat, no.
Sam's is good for the snacks.
Well, I'm very
Like-
particular about the things I buy. So I don't buy meat from there. I don't buy produce from there. It's generally dry goods and name
Clean-
brand
yeah.
things, cleaning,
And they
some
have-
cleaning stuff like the Tide Pods and things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So Latoya,
Yes.
tell us where they can find you at if they're looking
So-
for you as far as your contact information. And do you have any upcoming events?
Contact information, stampleytech.com. Everything is relatively simple. I'm mostly on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, Latoya Stampley or Stampley Tech or Stampley Technology. Either way, business to business is just a lot easier on LinkedIn. So that's primarily where I am. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those things for branding, so nobody else can take it from me. But I'm not that frequent. I'm not on those platforms that frequently. What do I have coming up? I host webinars. I haven't scheduled any upcoming, but I'll have some in Eventbrite. And I'm posting some free videos from webinars that I have done on YouTube. So I
Girl,
have
you
a
need to be
YouTube
on
channel.
TikTok. They said TikTok is the new.
I've already told you security is a thing for me. So I'm concerned.
What do you want to ask her next? What street did you grow up on?
Right.
So the thing about TikTok,
I know.
Yeah, we know.
We know. We know.
It's something for the American companies want your information. I think that there are some things that we take for granted in this country that
I agree.
we want to keep secure. And I don't just want to give my data away. At least with an American company, I know they want America secure. So that's where I'll say. I'm not saying
I'm
that
with you
people
with that.
aren't winning on TikTok. I know that they are. I know that it's working. But again, sometimes people play the long game, and
I agree with
that's
that. Mhm.
important. So for me, I do have that handle on TikTok now.
For
but
branding.
I'm not, yeah. So that somebody can't come and take it and I don't have to buy it if I absolutely need to. But it's just something that I don't need to be on all platforms to be relevant. And I really say that I've tried to protect like having some peace. I give up time on the weekend. You all are doing it as well, away from your families. And so I don't need to be everywhere. And there are social media managers and apps that you can put all that stuff on across all platforms. But that's not necessarily where my audience is anyway. So
yeah, you found a great lane, and I think it's amazing what you're doing. You're out here protecting and educating business owners on how to keep themselves, how to prevent from being hacked, because afterwards, obviously, that's a lot more work. But we definitely, this is some new stuff for us. We like it. Well, we definitely commend you on your accomplishments in your business, and we absolutely want to thank you for joining us today on the Super Business Women Show and educating our listeners
and ourselves.
Yes, especially. And we're going to absolutely have your website and contact information on the YouTube as well as our social media. Please don't hack it, y'all. We're going to have to send Latoya after you.
She's going to get our stuff back.
Well, we're going to do some preventative.
Then we're going to do some preventative
things. So you have to work a little harder to get here.
We definitely understand hard work, and we appreciate you again for joining us today. We're going to actually get into a quick music break, and we'll be right back on the Super Business Women Show here on Intellectual Radio.
Don't go anywhere.
Thank you so much.
Do you think of me? Now it's gone, now it's gone. Do you think of me since I'm so far? Would you even speak to me if I should call? Sometimes it's hard to sleep. Staring at the stars when I dream, I blink, and damn, there you are. Do you think of me? I wish we could have worked things out one way or another. At least we should have stayed friends. Now so much lovers. Do you think of me? We love to hug and kiss. We love to rub. That love is what I miss. Do you think of me, or how I could be more than just another casualty you need? Do you think of me? Do you still see me as a queen out here doing my thing? Do you think of me and say it's an act of God's timing so I can pursue rhyming? I love you, but that love had me blinded. Face fine, but what hides behind it? Do you think of me and all them lonely nights I'm crying? Do you think of me without even trying? Do you think of me when you hear love breakup songs? Do you think of me and want to apologize for your wrongs? Do you think of me and realize after all this long? Do you think of me? Now it's gone, now it's gone. Do you think of me when you hear love breakup songs? Do you think of me and want to apologize for your wrongs? Do you think of me? Realize after all this long. Do you think of me? Now it's gone, now it's gone. Either way, I see a brighter day. By the way, do you think of me when the radio plays all my jams, heavy rotation? And again, do you think of me when you see me in the magazines? Do you think of me and what you could have with me? Do you think of me? Of course you do. None bad as me. Do you think of me? Mic checking, say trust it. Do you think of me and realize you're the reason I'm stressing? Do you think of me? Rewind me again. Learn a lesson. Do you think of me now that I'm running the league? You guessed it. When it comes to this ink pen, some call it gifted. I call it all the above. I've been blessed from the beginning. Do you think of me? Does it hurt to see I'm forever winning? Do you think of me? Got back all the peace, toxic love ever cost me. Honestly, it's sad to see you never really rock with me. Love is dead. Rest in peace. Do you think of me when you hear love breakup songs? Do you think of me and want to apologize for your wrongs? Do you think of me and realize after all this long? Do you think of me? Now it's gone, now it's gone. Do you think of me when you hear love breakup songs? Do you think of me and want to apologize for your wrongs? Do you think of me and realize after all this long? Do you think of me? Now it's gone, now it's gone. Now it's gone, now it's gone. Do you?
Hello and welcome back to the Super Business Women Show here on Intellectual Radio. It's your girl CEO Lexi, all things couture.
And it's Sharon Locks, Love, Loans, and Lifestyle.
Hi, it's Crystal, the Savvy Investor.
And today, you see the cake on the table and all the pretty festive things. It is our CEO Lexi Couture's birthday. Now, we're not giving out the actual date because the little hackers may want to know. So we're celebrating today. Latoya told us about giving out special dates.
We're not giving away anything.
We're not
today.
giving away anything. So we want to wish you a happy birthday. We're grateful that you are one of our co-hosts. We're grateful for all your graphics and keeping us organized and savvy and beautiful on flyers. And we love you. And we rock out here at the Super Business Women Show because of you.
Well, I thank you guys very much for these surprises, and thank you to Wanda B because she decorated too and surprised me. So shout out to Wanda B for that, and shout out to you ladies. Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all know it's Gemini season. Turn up.
It's Gemini season. I have a lot of favorite people who are Geminis.
We are amazing people, if I say so myself.
Yeah, you are.
She said you are. I'll take it.
Yeah, you are. We also have back with us, as promised. See, that's one of the wonderful things. We got a Black man that kept his promise.
There's something right here. I can tell you.
Dr. Anthony Wilson is back with us.
All right. How you all doing this afternoon?
We're good. Welcome back.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me back. I appreciate
Here
you.
to fix our love lives, I've heard.
Uh,
Those that need it.
I could use it.
He gonna get
Crystal
get everybody married and happy. We got a little time, so no pressure.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, you all should be instrumental in change, right?
Instrumental in change.
Yeah.
So where do we leave off?
She just left that one alone.
Right. Where did we leave off last week, Dr. Wilson?
I think we left off on what can we do to prepare the next generation to not make some of the same mistakes we've made.
Hell, I want to know what we need to do to fix this generation so that we can survive in unity and
Ask
And-
away. Let's
and-
talk about it. Yeah.
do those things. Our community is in dire need of something. I don't know what it is.
Mhm.
I know, we all have these thoughts, but it's not working. Our thoughts, our efforts, it's not working. We have the highest divorce rate. We have the lowest marriage rate for women, Black women. We need help. And I am a woman of faith, so I do pray, but prayer without works is dead. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, let me ask this question so we know where to start it here, right? And I'm just going to ask you three since you're here. What is one thing that can come to mind for yourself where you think needs to change to make things better in the Black community for dating?
For dating,
One thing.
preparation.
Well, preparation. Okay.
Black people for dating, preparation is good. And I would probably also say, because unfortunately it seems like we've been through so much, I would say we need a lot of grace with one another.
Okay. Grace. I understand.
So I would say that we need the successful women, men that are in relationships and marriages for a very long time to be more loud and vocal and present in advice opposed to what we have right now, where we have a lot of people that are single or they're bitter or they have, they're not healed and they're giving advice out and they're on the forefront.
Absolutely, Lexus. I mean, all the answers are good. But I do like what Lexus said because her answer speaks of accountability. It speaks of responsibility from one generation to the next generation. I think we've become very self-centered as a culture, very egotistical. It's about me, my four, no more. And if it doesn't affect me directly, we tend to minimize our role for change.
Indeed.
So when it comes to relationships, we'll watch the news and the social media, and we'll watch the demise and demoralization of our younger generation, of whether it's the influence of crime or just the poor behavior of speaking negatively toward one another. And as long as the language or the behavior is not connected to us personally, it's in form of entertainment.
I agree.
And we begin to use it as if we're watching a show, and then when we start pushing things into entertainment, we take no initiative to make change because we set our alarm clocks or we get up and scroll to certain websites and will follow certain people who post a consistency of
Foolery.
negative stuff for entertainment. We're not realizing that these two grown women are fighting in the street, pulling each other's clothes off at 1 a.m. with kids at home, and nobody's saying, why are we doing this? Why are we watching this? And then we'll turn around and go, did you see that? And share it like
Well,
it's entertainment.
Well, how about they will see people present fighting rather than interrupt it, film it. They'll film it rather than interrupt or call the police. Even when someone's injured, they will film it.
I agree with you 1,000%. They don't let paramedics wear cameras. Of course, I'm a paramedic with the major city here, so I get to see a lot of different things firsthand before social media get to it most of the time. And when I get on the scene, half the stuff can be eliminated if just a citizen just said, let me help them. Let me just help them. Even in the wintertime, which is really disgusting, where you see an elderly person slip on ice or fall, and they say, I'm okay, I just need help to get up. They'll sit there and let this person lay on the ground for 5 to 10 minutes to wait for an ambulance to come and ask the same questions we ask. Are you hurt? Do you need? No, I just need to get up. But they're watching me and they're filming it. And you're like, you're going to film an elderly person sitting in the snow for what? What are you going to save it for?
It's entertainment. It's social
They wanna
media
go
likes.
viral.
Yeah, and
Likes.
it's like you sitting here at somebody else's demise trying to bring your status up to a group of people who really don't care. They really don't care. So when you see it, it's disgusting. You sit here, instead of you're watching arguments take place in your family, instead of saying, let's stop them from fighting, you'll sit there and pull out your camera and film your family or other people's families fighting. And then you'll sit back and go, this is crazy, you all. Look at this. They're out here fighting in the street. Yeah, but what are you doing?
I've never done anything like that.
Well, you're not. Of course, you're not representing the other 2.6 billion women or men that's out here.
So you guys do know that
I just think it's crazy.
most people, only 4% of the population really makes up the people that causes all the trouble for us.
Absolutely.
That's
It's
what my-
only 4%
that's
of the
what my brother always
population.
Yeah.
says.
It's not the mass majority. The problem with the majority of the people now is that they endorse the nonsense of no accountability.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
can't
that's true. That makes
fix
sense.
what you don't face.
I agree. I think go ahead. I'm sorry.
And deflection. Deflection is the enemy of accountability. Comparison. Instead of taking accountability and saying, well, yeah, I probably shouldn't have did that, they will tell you then, well, this person did this and this happened. I try to explain that's the equivalent to me trying to redirect my child that got a C, or, redirect my child. And they're telling me, well, Peter and Paul in the class got C's too. Does that resonate and make sense to you guys? Like that comparison thing drives me bananas.
We have utilized other people's average to become mediocre, even when we have the ability to excel. We will rather be average, which I think is a disease. I think to be average is a curse.
Indeed.
Particularly when you are blessed to have the ability to be excellent.
I think
And-
it's
and
a disrespect and a disgrace, and I think you mismanage the blessings, because if you have the propensity and you've been blessed to do better, mismanaging and just operating at the bare minimum is actually a disrespect to God, I believe.
Well, yeah, and
I agree.
Alexa said something that was good. She said, I want people who are in strong in relationships. And I'm just paraphrasing. I can't remember all the words in detail. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. But we have to start pulling on our strengths to start addressing the weaknesses as a system. It's not just you and your husband or you and your wife for a healthy relationship. Is your community healthy? Is your culture healthy? As a whole, are we representing ourselves as a Black race in America healthy?
No.
And you have to ask yourself, what am I doing? Of course, if you have children, your focus will be on creating and developing a mindset, supposed to be, right, of teaching your children to be part of the healthy part of representation of being Black, the culture you choose to be a part of, and the lifestyle you desire to live, right? That's what parenting is. Unfortunately, having children doesn't equate to being a healthy parent. So we have forgotten that once we have children, regardless if you're the mother that gave birth or the father who's the part of the provisionary, we have to start learning how to be parents after the baby. Parenting is not just having a baby to put you in a position to be an overseer. Now you have to start educating yourself on parenting. And what happens is that most of us lean on our experiences based off the people who were over us. And we don't realize some of us were in really bad families
Trauma
growing up. And so you'll sit back and you'll be like, you know what, when I grew up, we did this, and did that. And that may have worked back in the 70s and the 80s. But now you have a generation of children who are emotionally imbalanced from the moment they start interacting with education. They don't even know what it's like to sit down in a room. Everything is electronic. You're looking at kids right now, they don't even know what a typewriter looks like. They don't even know how to function and have the patience to read a novel. They have to, everything that they're entertained on has to be plugged in, charged up, illuminated, what colors have a sound to it.
My son told me this. He said, you have to understand we're in a society where it's a microwave society. He said, everything I get, if I want to eat instantly, I, hit an app. If I want to go somewhere, I hit an app. If I want to read something, he says you can go to an app. He broke it down to me to a point where I guess he's right. I opened encyclopedias. I did research. They don't have.
We went to libraries.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my question would be, is that the new wave of doing things? Is there something wrong with that? Or should we still establish individuals to go back to how we did it back in the days and do research?
I don't think we can eliminate technology.
You can't.
It is a way of life. It is the world is built on that function. I think the young lady that was in here earlier, she was talking about how we have to be more conscientious of the security side of things. These are things we never had to think about when we were growing up. But and just to your point too, Sharita, you mentioned something earlier. The Bible also teaches us that as the world becomes wiser, it also can grow weaker.
Absolutely.
So what is the exchange for the technology that we now are embedded in? What is the exchange for the accessibility of having to push a button and all these different resources coming? Is that we're losing something, and it's called patience. So many
That's a good
people
thing. That's
can't
true.
wait.
Patience.
But they really can, because you
Yeah.
wait on a check every 2 weeks. You stop at the stop. Some people stop at the stoplight and you wait. You know how to wait. You'll wait on things to get cooked if you make something. We know how to implement patience when it benefits us. But can we implement patience in places where it's a necessary ingredient to understand? And that's where problems come in. People say, well, I have ADHD. Well, ADHD, if you really look
That's
it
a
up,
superpower.
has nothing to do with being impatient.
No.
It has everything with your ability to be able to function at a pace where you should be able to be, calm and everything. You're all over the place with ADHD. But that's also a reflection of how this society has us. How many people multitask every day just to function? So many things that are major. We're all spinning plates up in here. You either got one or two jobs, you got to get the kids, you got to go to work, you got to sit back and balance yourself. All these things come where we're moving around so much that we don't even know what it's like to have quiet time. And even in our quiet time, we got a TV on in the background. Somebody's always calling us or texting us. Somebody's always entering into the room. When was the last
Picking up
time
the
you
phone,
just sat up
scrolling.
without being asleep? When you sat up 4 to 6 hours and just took in nothing?
Oh,
Why
that's-
do I have to go to a beach in a different country to sit out to sit out and not hear anything? Just to hear silence. And let's listen to your own thoughts. And a lot of people don't have those memories because they're always on the go. And we wear it as a badge of honor. But in reality, it's not. It's an unhealthy state of
It is.
functioning.
I
Well,
agree.
it's
not
not
have
a
your me
badge
time.
of honor. It's a lifestyle. You don't. That's another thing that's plaguing our community. You don't really have a choice. You have to function at a high level with multitasking if you have any children, and if you have multiples, if you're an employee, or if you own a company, if you're going back to school, either you wait till that phase of life is over, or you learn how to multitask.
Stuff suffered. For me, I take a lot of time to myself. I really do.
Yeah, yeah.
because I have to in order to be able to move around in the world
Yeah.
and try to be the kind person that I am. But there is a suffer that comes behind that because I'm always putting something on the back burner.
Yes.
So it's hard the balance is hard to do though, because what I do isn't for everybody. Either way it goes, I still feel the stress.
I'm always trying to multitask. I try to maintain my relationship. So if I'm driving home, I'm calling my girlfriends. Hey, what's going on? Da, 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 da. You know, so I'm always trying to get everything done.
You know, our society, we now in our culture, we say stuff like mental health days, right?
Mm-hmm.
We say things.
Oh, we get one a year.
Yeah. So we say things now, mental health day. And it was actually designed to allow us to be able to take that pause I was just talking about. And on that pause, we actually supposed to just minimize ourselves from the pressures of the day-to-day challenges. But this is the thing. We use it as a day to go do other things. We'll take that mental health day to go hang out with our girlfriends. We'll take that mental health day to go hang out with our kids. And the reality of it is, it's not designed.
Because you don't have time to do it any other time.
Well, what I'm saying is that we're not taking appropriate time to do the things that gonna keep us sane or keep us balanced, emotionally for a long time. We are stressing ourselves. We're aging, we're stressing ourselves, and people are having physical results of it. Diabetes, high blood pressure, all these different things. We're not taking care of. We're not going to the gym, we're not doing all these different things because we say we don't have time.
Now I wake up an hour earlier to do it.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people who don't. And maybe in January, everybody tries.
Everybody does it. I hate the gym.
March
January
1st,
to March.
they kind of filter themselves out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
February, mid-February, the gym is back to normal.
So, but you know what? Just getting to Lex's point about the responsibility of the generations who are in healthy relationships as it comes to imprinting the next generation. I think we have to really start being more purposeful about bringing that a part of our mindset. I mentioned something last week about where are the mentor groups of the older people to that young adult section versus your young babies. What about that 18 to 25 population? Where are those groups at? Where are those people who are standing up and saying, let's invite, even if you don't look at who's coming, just have a platform so that they can come and sit down and ask those questions that they're afraid to ask or don't feel like they have resources to get those answers.
I know that we need to help the youth, but young adults, but our community, our age group is one of the ones that are perpetrating the foolery the most. So what do we do for that group from 40 to 55? What do you do with that group in order to, because I keep telling people I'm watching it, and shout out to my children. One just got inducted into the Honor Society and the other got 7 scholarships to the Ivy League school. So, hey, but what I'm saying is kids don't do what you do. Don't do what you say. They do what you do. So the best thing we can do as adults is to become better examples. Stop having 50 people in your homes. Check your mailbox. You shouldn't have a different last name for all your children. Watch what you do in front of them. Be intentional about who you date and not what feels good.
I think there's a lot of factors in that. I think one of the things we have to get through in order to be effective to the next generation, even when we're still in our broken state, is humility.
Yes.
I really believe that humility is a gateway to getting the attention of that next generation. If I'm speaking, and I'm just giving an example, if I'm speaking to a younger man who, and I often do, on the back of that ambulance, I unfortunately encounter a lot of young men who have made some poor mistakes, which places them in the position where I am meeting them in that position. So I don't just render the paramedicine that I have as a skill. I also render just a little wisdom, hopefully, that just if it's a seed, that plants inside their thoughts, even if it's no immediate change, then hopefully that seed can help them down the road, right? So sometimes I have to be transparent because they see my uniform. They automatically believe, a lot of them think you were born with a uniform, like They
Right.
came and knocked on your door and said, you know what, we need 5 Black men on the ambulance, and you come work for us. They don't understand that there was work that was put into that. There was some sacrifices. So I always ask some young men, and it all depends, of course, the environment. Hey, if you had to be anywhere today that would make your life better versus being in the back of my ambulance after a fight or in whatever's going on,
GSW.
GSW, where will you be? And a lot of them say, I want to be where you are. And I said, well, that comes with a sacrifice, because I was raised in a neighborhood just like you were, where we dodged bullets and had to move around a different way. You know what I mean? On certain neighborhoods to be able to get from block A to block B. But the thing of difference between me and a lot of those guys that I grew up with, whom I loved, was that when the fight took place at the end of the block, they ran too. I walked away. I didn't need to know who fought. I didn't need to know the end of the gossip. I didn't need to know,
Right.
what was going on, because the neighborhood's going to tell you anyway if you're listening to the streets. I didn't have to be popular. I pushed to be right. And that takes also some measure of guidance. And that's what a lot of these young generations don't have. They don't really have a home to go to and sit down and talk about. If you're going home to a toxic environment where you got a mother or a father or a guardian cussing you out or speaking to you like they're because their trauma's transferred over too, right?
Right.
A lot of these guys don't even know what it's like. And I'm speaking on young men because I talk to a lot of young men, to hear a calm male voice.
When I'm talking to people at work, they always say, well, you don't understand. You got a uniform on. And I always have to remind them, I didn't start here. I was born to teenage parents. So that took some getting used to. And when we think about the transference of the energy of the trauma that we transfer, all of us have some form of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
When we think about the transference of trauma, I had to go back and do some things differently with my children as I began to grow. I went back and said, oh, okay, well, I can't parent everybody the same way. That doesn't work. I'm not seeing the results I want. So I was stressed out for a while and praying about, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I was parenting all of them the same way, and you cannot. All the rules were applicable for everybody. It was, all my guidelines were applicable. You can't do that. You have to parent according to who you have.
I think the way we approach this younger generation or the next generation is, like I said, through humility. And it starts with being honest with yourself. We have become very embedded into our denial state. We figure so because we've shifted our life in our 40s and our 50s, that the people who did know us, who we were and what we used to do, are not around, or the numbers have dwindled, that we can kind of like finagle our way through the environment that we're exposing ourselves to right now to give this illusion of healthiness. In reality, you're crying. And so when you sit back and you're speaking to the next generation, I think sometimes we have to be more aware, because that was one of the questions you asked, what do we do? We have to be more aware of being more transparent without feeling shame. And I think, and I'm only saying things about the biblical because you came with the biblical approach, is that the Bible does teach about a haughty spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and that it goes before the fall,
Mm-hmm.
and pride goes before destruction.
Indeed.
And that you have to understand that in order for you to avoid those negative outcomes, those two words are focused on you dealing with you.
But you know what else?
Haughtiness and pride.
Okay.
That it's on you. You
Right.
have to really be comfortable with your past in order to have a better future.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That doesn't mean you go all into it's like, yeah, I used to sleep with guys all through college, or I used to sleep with girls all through college. That's not the type of transparency we're
Correct.
talking about.
Yeah, we get it.
We're talking
Yeah.
about, what can I say to connect with this person to let them know that their current behaviors is not alone, that they're not by themselves out
You
here.
have to also understand this. Humility, for some people, these definitions vary, just like with love. If you ask the average person what is love to them, you're going to be all across the board, and it's nothing of what the definition of God says it is. They think it's a feeling. It's butterflies. It's warm. It's you make me, feel a certain kind of way about you. Love, as far as our children are concerned, doesn't come with an exchange.
But and this is my therapist hat on, we have to meet people where they are too.
Mm-hmm.
If that guy says to me, love is somebody buying me a gift, I have to meet him at that space.
Well, yeah,
right. You know,
yeah.
and again, the biblical
Yeah.
reference, right? God met us, he meets us
where
we are, right? He doesn't say, I need you to go over and do a couple of more things before we start talking about me and you. We have to meet people where they at. So if you ask a child or a young adult, because that's what I really want to emphasize on, because they're so impactful. I love the energy and the passion that this young generation has. It's just misguided. It's displaced in a lot of ways. So my thing is what does love look like to you? And you have to respect their focus and their definition, even if we have a different form of understanding of it. How do I bridge the gap between the two of my understanding and their understanding? And that comes with patience. That comes with education, and that comes with reflection on within yourself, because you can't bombard them with this, no, love is about, flowers and candy. And if he's not buying you this and he's not doing that, then he doesn't love you. But I thought it was somebody just speaking for me.
No, I teach my children that you have to meet people where they are as far as love languages.
Yeah.
The way that I love, because of course they call you to the carpet because you parent differently. So if I parent number 1 different than I parent number 3, then of course they're calling you on it. And I have to tell them I meet him where he is. He doesn't need redirection harshly. He needs hugs and affirmations and reaffirming. Mm-hmm. This one, you need this. So you do have to meet them where they are, and it's best benefit.
Yeah, I think it's key.
And one day you're going to have no choice, because like my 30-year-old and my 23-year-old have come to me and said, I don't like you.
Yeah. Well, they go through that phase too.
Right, but
you'll fall from grace.
Right, but it goes back to having to take accountability, listen to what they say in a humble spirit, and acknowledge it, and still let them know that, okay, I accept, because I accept my shortcomings. Mm-hmm. But in the end, you have to get that off of your chest, because you're the one that's walking around with it controlling you. Because I've already let it go.
Yeah. So what is a puppet? Okay. What do we consider a puppet, right? A puppet is a figure that represents something that it's not real, but it gives the illusion of realness by its guidance, right? But it's also following whatever the master has attached to it. A lot of us are guided by our ideals of who we believe we are, not what we're actually presenting out here. Our self-identity, if you ask most people, their self-identity is totally different from what the world sees them, especially with our children. And that's what we have those challenges at.
When we come back from the commercial break, I'm going to tell you, my son told me, he did a paper, and we see ourselves a lot different than we actually really are. It was a whole thing with it. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. The Super Business Women Show will be right back.
Y'all gonna need to submit some commercials.
Think of me when you hear love breakup songs? Do you think of me and want to apologize for your wrongs? Do you think of me and realize after all this long? Do you think of me? Now it's gone. Do you think of me when you hear love breakup songs? Do you think of me and want to apologize for your wrongs? Do you think of me and realize after all this long? Do you think of me? Now it's gone. Do you think of me since I'm so far? Would you even speak to me if I should call? Sometimes it's hard to sleep. Staring at the stars when I dream, I blink, and damn, there you are. Do you think of me and wish we could have worked things out one way or another? At least we should have stayed friends. Now so much lovers. Do you think of me? We love to hug and kiss. We love to rub. That love is what I miss. Do you think of me or how I could be more than just another casualty you need? Do you think of me? Do you still see me as a queen out here doing my thing? Do you think of me and say it's an act of God's timing so I can pursue rhyming? I love you, but that love had me blinded. Face fine, but what hides behind it? Do you think of me and all them lonely nights I'm crying? Do you think of me without even trying? Do you think of me when you hear love breakup songs? Do you think of me and want to apologize for your wrongs? Do you think of me and realize after all this long? Do you think of me? Now it's gone, now it's gone. Do you think of me when you hear love breakup songs? Do you think of me and wanna apologize for your wrongs? Do you think of me, realize after all this long? Do you think of me? Now it's gone, now it's gone. Either way, I see a brighter day. By the way, do you think of me when the radio plays all my jams, heavy rotation? And again, do you think of me when you see me in the magazines? Do you think of me and what you could have with me? Do you think of me? Of course you do. None bad to me. Do you think of me? Mic checking, say traffic. Do you think of me and realize you're the reason I'm stressing? Do you think of me? Rewind me again. Learn a lesson. Do you think of me? Now that I'm running the league, you guessed it. When it comes to this ink pen, some call it gifted. I call it all the above. I've been blessed from the
Hello
beginning.
and welcome back to the Super Businesswoman Show here on Intellectual Radio. It's your girl, CEO Lexi, All Things Couture, and I'm joined here with my lovely co-host.
Phones and lifestyle. How are you?
And of course, we are still joined here today with Dr. Anthony Wilson, and we are going to bring in our next special guest, ChiBlizz TheCrownHolder. Welcome to the Super Businesswoman Show.
Hello. Big ups to the super business women. Much love. Salute.
How you feeling today?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. Thank y'all for having me.
He got his Tom Fords on, looking all good.
Thank you. Thank you.
He fancy. Oh, you know what? Let me give you a proper introduction. I'm giving his proper introduction. So, ChiBlizz TheCrownHolder, a true powerhouse in the independent media and music scene. A proud Chicago native, ChiBlizz is an independent musician, DJ, and a longtime on-air radio personality known for his energy, authenticity, and his deep commitment to the culture. He is the owner of My Radio Chicago, an independent radio station amplifying raw talent and real stories. He continues to create space for independent voices in an ever-changing media landscape. So whether he's spinning tracks, dropping bars, or building platforms, ChiBlizz lives and breathes the art of storytelling, rhythm, and impact. There we go. That's your proper.
Hey, come on, clap it up. Quick.
Your proper introduction. Okay.
Can you copy and paste me that? Send me that so I can just send that.
Add it to your
people?
bio. Oh, just
You
the
know.
text message when they ask you
You know.
a little something about yourself.
Yeah.
Little
Put that on
something.
all my social media platforms. Like that's perfect.
You know I got you with the marketing now. You know I got you.
Thank you.
I got
Thank
I
you so
got
much. It's a blessing to be here, though.
you. Absolutely. So we're gonna get into your interview. I got some questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Hot seat.
Hot seat. It's, you know, my questions are always gonna be insightful.
Mhm.
So, Liz,
Mhm.
what was your earliest memory falling in love with music?
It was either LL Cool J, I'm Bad, or Parents Just Don't Understand by Will Smith. It was one of them that really, like, I could just rap this song all day. Like, for real, for real. So like, probably LL Cool J, I'm Bad, was the first one that just, like, I heard the song and it just wouldn't let me go. It just had me in a chokehold. So yeah, that was like my first run in with hip hop, where I knew, like, I want to be a part of this for the rest of my life. Yeah.
And I think we have to reiterate that constantly because you are known as this media powerhouse. You are known as a DJ, but
Yes.
you are an independent musician, a rapper, and that's where it started.
Yes, indeed. It started, just, penning, jotting little stuff down on envelopes and notepads, and everywhere I would just scribble things. And then, of course, growing into the artistry, being a part of an actual group, and then, really venturing off solo. And, since then, just been just doing my thing out here, dropping songs, albums, EPs, mixtapes, traveling the world and writing for other artists and things like that. So it's been a blessing, man. I love this hip hop journey.
Absolutely. So growing up in Chicago, what influence did the city's culture have on your style and career path?
Well, Chicago is a big melting pot when you think about it. We got, the blues, the jazz, we got juke, we got house, we got, I feel like our R&B is like next level here, and then we do have hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like all of that, I took a little bit of all of that and just created that in what we call the Blizz effect,
We've heard of this.
Yes.
Just the whole culture of Chicago, you know what I'm saying? Everything from the Taste of Chicago to Harold's to, hanging out on South Chicago, where you used to hang out on South Chicago all night long back in the day, and
White Castles.
and just party all night and have a great time and watch the cars race up and down the street. And even on the west side, if you hanging up under the tracks on Lake Street, like, everything from the Sears Tower. I know it's the Willis Tower, but the Sears Tower to me, the golf courses on the south side, everything about Chicago, a little piece of it is in the Blizz effect, and that's what makes ChiBlizz.
And speaking of that, can you give us the definition of ChiBlizz and the crown holder?
ChiBlizz is just simply, what I'm saying, I got that in college, and ChiBlizz is the Chicago Blizzard. It's just shortened, so it went from Chicago Blizzard, and I'm like, that is entirely too long. I'm not going to say that every time I open the mic or rap.
I do it
and then it went from to ChiBlizard to just like ChiBlizz, and I mess with people. People like, what does your name mean? I'd be like, ruler of all I survey. Like it's something. No, but that's ChiBlizard. And then the crown holder is just I just wanted to be able to say king in a different way. Everybody's the king or the legend or the, I just wanted to stand out and be different. I didn't want to be like everybody else. So it was just like, oh, the crown holder. I like that. They'll get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's great. It is, and it's your own thing because you're right. There's lots of the kings, the greats, the everything else.
The gods,
yeah.
goddesses, like, but I just wanted to stand out and be different, like, and at first it's crazy how you can truly manifest something, even as simple as a name. I would just say ChiBlizz Crown, ChiBlizz Crown. I would just sign it like that, and then I never forget. Big ups going out to Sinatra's. This was years ago. I went out to an open mic or a showcase, and he was like, "What's up, crown holder?" And that's when I knew. I'm like, it's sticking. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And he's very particular about having that crown holder on there. As somebody that's done many flyers. If you forget the crown holder, you're gonna have some problems.
Yeah. It's like
it's my
name.
name.
Initially, Kanye West wanted to be called Kanye West.
Yeah.
You are what you answer to. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I didn't used to make a big deal about it, but then it was like, no, that's my name. That's who I am.
What does Kanye want to be called now?
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. Well.
So Blizz, what messages or energy do you aim to communicate through your music?
Really just not only things that I've been through, because I always want to tell my story, but I find it, enlightening to tell the stories of the people that I'm around. Be able to tell their story so people can resonate with that. So life stories, lessons, fun. I like to bring fun back to to the hip hop and to rap. Everything can be serious. Everything ain't hardcore. I also like to bring experimentation because I feel like a lot of people like to put artists in a box and say, oh, if you do this, you shouldn't do this, or if you're going to do it this way, keep it that. No, I believe you should. It's an art. And every time I break out a canvas, I should be able to paint how I want to paint. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, you absolutely did that with Surface on the Blizz Effect too. So
thank you. That's definitely to this day, people are still like, man, that's one of my favorite songs. It was really heartfelt, and it was how can I say, it was a real transparent song, so I like that song because of the transparency. Of course, at that time I was going through, I had just lost my dad, and I just wanted to scream. You feel me? But of course, you can't run down the street screaming. Somebody gonna lock you up, put you in a straitjacket.
Yeah. Don't meet them today.
Yeah. You'll meet me and I'll refer you. I'll make the referral.
Next thing I'm at Jackson Park being surveillance or something like that, But no,
you have to sign him out, see if he's okay.
That's my therapy. Being able to go in and say, this is how I feel, unapologetically, take it or leave it, So
I like to say that's why we call it a release.
Yeah.
A music release. So Blizz, what do you think the future holds for independent artists in today's digital landscape?
I think we moving in a great direction as far as being independent, being an artist in general. At one time you had to be signed to this major label and they had to break you give you a budget, and you can only release when they said you released your music. Has streaming took away from the game? Yes. But it's also added. It's like I can go record a song, get it mixed and mastered, and within a couple days, a day or two, I could have my song released to the world. the monetary value that these platforms put on that, however, though, I feel like they are really jagging the artists at the end of the day, and it's not fair. And I feel like we as artists need a better shake when it comes to the breakdown of the monetary value, but the process that is moving in to be able to get it to the masses. I love that. I feel like we as artists, we have to create our own balance though, as independent artists. If you're gonna drop a project, maybe those first 90 days, first 60 days, put it on your own platform, your own website, and promote it like crazy. Some way like a Kanye would do, make it exclusive. And that way you're going to see your dollars up front. Encourage your family, friends, and even strangers to go buy it for that $10. Then after you then, ran a good 60, 90-day course with that, then put it on the digital platforms and let everybody have their way with it. You feel me? But I feel like we got to create balance to be able to eat at the end of the day off of the very things we create, because right now we living off pennies, literally.
Wow.
And I actually spoke about that earlier. There's actually legislation on somebody's table that needs to be moving around as far as the streaming services as well as royalties. So
Yes.
there's some bills out there, and the American Federation of Musicians is backing one of them, which was just presented in March of this year. So there is some legal fight out there for our artists as well. So
Yeah, and I don't know if that's, I'm not going to sit up here and say like I'm the most knowledgeable when it comes to the breakdown of the streaming, but I do have a platform as far as radio, but one day I would probably like to have my own streaming platform and be able to offer artists way more, than what they're getting today. And I don't know if it's a competition clause when it comes to that or it's restrictions when it comes to that, but I want to really be able to give artists their worth. So, down the line, I can see myself tapping into the Blizz Effect streaming service, like where you can stream your music and be great.
I think it's needed. And
Yeah.
and one thing I commend you on is that you definitely push independent musicians more than a lot of people that I've met in the industry. And I definitely salute you for that
Thank you.
and for the support that you give to our independent musicians.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
I love the independent music. That I feel like that was one of the things that first turned me on, to this industry. I remember listening to people like Pink House and Spank Boogie and of course Tifa and the Chocolate Jocks and the Bad Boys. And uh in Chicago, you don't have many outlets as an artist. We are very limited, because we did come from the house music and juke scene, and we were most notable for that for a long time. When it came to rapping and being an R&B artist out here, we didn't have the greatest platform. So from day one, when I touched the airways, I said, I want to be different. We're going to hear Usher 50 times. We're going to hear Tupac and Biggie at the time, and now Lil Uzi Vert and Megan Thee Stallion. We're going to hear those people a million times already. I want to play something different that, offer something different to the people where they can tap into and say, man, we got a lot of dope stuff right up under our nose, right from our city right here. So being able to break ground with that and expose that on a daily basis, that's huge to me. You know what I'm saying? Being able to do it your way. For real.
That's true. And so, Liz, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind in music, radio, and beyond?
The greatest. No, the crown holder, like I said, I want them to be able to say, you know what? He was able to touch mainstream radio, underground radio, internet radio, satellite radio. He was able to be a phenomenal musician and just an overall dope person, not a perfect person, but an overall dope person, and make a difference out here. That's what I want people to say. Like, he was accessible, but he was still great, and he left something dope behind for the people to be able to keep for forever. So whether that's the music, whether that's a DJ mix they may have heard, whether that's me saying something dope on the radio that inspired them and, motivated them to, keep going and not do something crazy out here. Well, whether it was just us hanging out and just having a drink together and, just feeling that energy. That's what I want to leave with the people at the end of the day. Dope vibes, dope memories, and say, man, he was always a good
Well, I
time.
can vouch for the dope vibes.
Yes, indeed.
We've hung
Yes,
out a few
indeed.
times. I can vouch for the dope vibes.
A few live broadcasts and
I
just
love it.
vibing at the radio station. Like
Yes.
I think everybody in this room has great energy. You know, you can tell when you walk in the room instantly, it's gonna hit you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you know, if I had an opportunity to hang out with you guys multiple times, not you, my brother, we gonna party up too. We're gonna pop this bottle in a minute. We're gonna pop this bottle.
We got
in a minute.
champagne.
You know,
We got champagne for your
you know,
birthday to toast.
after the, you know what I'm saying, the partay for the Gemini here. You feel me? But
Appreciate it.
no, I that's what I want to leave for the people, man, for real, for real.
Can we talk about something else, please? Because one thing I also would commend you on is that you are one of the most motivated people I've ever met in this industry. You wake up, I don't know when you sleep, because you're at radio, you're at you're DJing, you're in the studio. Sometimes you don't have time for me.
No, I feel so neglected.
What you're traveling, you're in Miami, you're in Arizona, you're in Texas, you're in Atlanta. What drives you every day?
I just want to be heard. I got a voice, and I just want to be heard. That's it. Like beyond leaving the legacy, I want to show people that you can be great at everything. I know they say be a jack of, you know, or be a jack or a master one thing, and you
Jack
know,
of all
a
trades,
jack of all
master of
trades,
none.
master of none. I'm gonna master them all.
That part.
Yes.
I'm dope. I'm one of the dopest DJs. I'm one of the dopest artists. I'm one of the dopest radio. How you say?
Personalities.
Not just the
He's a
personality.
programmer, owner,
programmer,
personality.
owner.
He's got a list.
I'm a mogul.
Yes.
I'm just a mogul in my own way, and
So I'm excited about the streaming. So let's
Yeah.
get that.
yeah, that's next. That's next.
Okay.
That's next on the platform. But being able to go city to city and touch different people and experience different cultures and getting off those stages and people look at you be like, man, you different. You know, I hear that so much. You know what I'm saying? And I feed off that. That's just energy for me to say, hey, that must mean I need to touch more people. And I can't do it always just behind the microphone talking. Sometimes I got to get out city to city and spin records or hit a stage and host or rapping, you know, and let them hear the music and whatever. And whoever gravitates to whatever, take that and run with it and then tell somebody else about it.
Look at y'all. Y'all better take them notes down. This
Let's get it.
is some keys to success being given. So, Blizz, can you please let our listeners know what you have coming up, where they can find you, social media?
So I just came back from speaking of being on the road. I just had a fabulous time in Miami DJing down there, making some networks with some clubs. So I will be back and forth there as well as Houston. I'm on my way to Atlanta June 14th through the 16th, Atlanta Parade, Juneteenth Festival, performing in Piedmont Park down there with a crew of my musical peers, Chanel Ellis, Kiwi Marie, what's my man, Ken Folks, Noah Hayes, Cypher Sick, Tyrone. You know, I always got to get love to other people too. You know what I'm saying? Houston, the 20th through the 22nd, hosting and performing down there. Fleet DJs, July the 17th through the 21st, hosting and DJing down there as well, and you know, hitting the stage as well. Labor Day weekend. I am your plan for Labor Day, by the way. Y'all hit up 773epicpromotions.com. August the 28th through September the 3rd. We in Phoenix, Arizona. One of the highlight DJs down there as well. Come on out and enjoy that. Use my promo code when you go there, ChiBlizz, 773epicpromotions.com. Shameless plug. You know, of course, morning jump off every morning, Monday through Friday, 9 to 12. Support districtradio.com, My Radio Chicago. Sundays, the Ownership Club, Soul 1063. Fat shouts out to the new podcast, Come Smoke With Me, live from the dispensary, Prohibition THC Cafe. We do that on Sundays as well. So just out here moving and grooving, man.
And new music coming soon.
Go download and stream Reposado featuring Daisy Bujetta. That's the juke turn up joint. Go download and stream Go DJ featuring Coco and she gonna kill me. My mind just went like SHS Music Star. Go download and stream that. And definitely go get the Blizz Effect too, man. people still eating off that project right there. Still, I know I released that a year ago, but I'm one of them people that like, I want you to sit with the project, marinate with it, ride to it, go back to it, go listen to something else, then go back to it. Because it's a lot of life lessons in there. It's a lot of partying. It's just a lot of everything, a lot of jewels within that album. And the Blizz Effect 3 is on the way. The Other Side is on the way. Fat shots going out to Luch and Cuzzo, you know what I'm saying? Street Boy Stretch. Me and Cypher Sick got some projects together. Me and Annette got some stuff working. So work. You know.
And where can the people find you on social media?
At ChiBlizz, ChiBlizz on everything. That's ChiBlizz. Follow me, stream me, Google me on all platforms. Check me out on TikTok doing my dance moves. You know.
Oh, I'm going to TikTok.
Definitely, you got to come check me out. Follow the TikTok. But no,
You
follow me
dancing on
everywhere.
TikTok?
You know, I get a little something.
Okay, because
Might
I'm
catch me
like, I
doing some
haven't been on
skits.
TikTok lately, so maybe
I'm
now we
checking
got to
out.
see what
gotta
you've been
see
up
that.
to on
Right.
TikTok.
Come check out some of
He
them.
been out
dope-
of town. I don't know what he was doing down there in Miami.
I do have a lot of dope reels on TikTok and of course Instagram as well, Facebook, just like me traveling and DJing and you know the ambiance and of course the ladies because you know I love the ladies. you know I love the ladies. So come check that out.
Giving us the behind the scenes. We appreciate
For
that.
sure.
That's always fun when we can't travel with you all over the place.
Yeah.
But Blizz, I want to thank you for gracing us with your presence, wisdom, and crown energy today. Your passion for independent music and media shines through, and your journey continues to inspire the next generation of creators, leaders, and storytellers. We appreciate you for being the voice behind the mic and the visionary behind the movement. So we're going to vibe out for a moment and take a we don't even need to take a break.
We don't even take a break.
We're not
So
even
we're
taking a break.
celebrating your birthday.
But we want to
Pop
thank
We're
Blizz.
popping
Champagne.
champagne and lighting birthday cake.
Right.
Pop
I
champagne
don't
and
know how to
like
pop
birthday
champagne.
cake. That sounds like a party to me.
I don't know how to pop champagne.
Look, give it to a professional.
That's a
'cause
professional.
I don't know.
Blizz, can you hand us the forks?
The forks, okay, I
We're
got
gonna-
you.
We're gonna put you to work, Blizz.
There we go. I don't mind, little work, I don't mind working for my important people. Lexi, as I always tell you, I love giving my people their flowers. Happy birthday, first and foremost.
Thank you.
We're gonna party, celebrate. You're one of my favorite Geminis. But your work ethic is impeccable. I feel like you are one of those people that know how to, you'll see something dope as myself, and you say, you know what? It just needs a little polish. You feel me? And I feel like that's what you came along and did with my career, in particular. You came along and you put that pizzazz to it, you put that polish to it, like, hey, here's a little organization, here's a little know-how to do this. Hey, you already got all the other stuff. So salute to being that, being the polish to what a lot of us artists and great people out here need. You feel me? We all need that. You know
I
what
like
I'm
to
saying?
say it's a razzle
A
dazzle.
little razzle dazzle.
Razzle dazzle.
Yeah, the
Yes,
razzle
indeed.
dazzle. And you know what? I also appreciate the people that I work with that take what I teach and pass it along. 'Cause a lot of
Yes.
people don't know you do offer artist development too. So he helps artists as well.
Yes.
So maybe it's not, it's in that list of things he do.
And then I have a superb network as well. Like when you get ChiBlizz, the Blizz Effect, you get a Lexi, you get a Shaw, you get a Brian Fleming, you get a Raymond Betts, you get a Coco Star that can style you. You know what I'm talking about? You get phenomenal videographers and camera people. You get intellectual radio. You know what I'm talking about? It's the Blizz Effect because man, I have such a dope network. But salute to you. It's all about you. Let's celebrate your birthday. And salute these phenomenal ladies in here as well.
Thank
know what
you,
I'm saying?
Wanda,
And
too.
Wanda, how you doing over there? Yes, indeed. This phenomenal platform and you guys doing this every Saturday. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So before you guys get into that, I do want to give an announcement that I have recently been offered a position at the City Colleges of Chicago. I'm not going to name it quite yet because it's not inked, but I will be an instructor, teacher at the colleges soon, teaching my music business management and artist development courses in a full curriculum.
Come on.
We already knew. So yeah,
Come on,
hey.
man. You
We
know for
already-
sure when you see
Y'all
it.
gonna be able to sign up and get all these lessons.
Get all the lessons.
Deservedly so.
Congratulations. What an amazing birthday gift to yourself, right?
Amazing. Amazing.
So happy birthday, Lex.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank
Make a wish so we
you.
can
Birthday
fan these
to you.
candles
Okay,
out.
Okay, I got
Happy
my come over
birthday
here.
to you. Happy
Yeah,
birthday to you.
our producer doesn't play with
She don't
us.
play no games.
No games.
Yeah. Razzle dazzle. You feel me?
So I guess this is going to conclude the Super Business Women Show for today. Sharon Locked, Love Loans and Lifestyle, 312-937-6227.
Alexis Arce on Facebook at CEO Lexi Couture on all social media, www.couturemusicmgmt.com.
And you can find Crystal Lewis at info@powercircleinvestments.com.
Crystal Lewis, come on now.
Dr. Anthony Wilson, you can email me at awilson@aurorafcs.org for all your information for counseling.
And you know, everyone's contact information will be on our social media as well as our YouTube. We want to thank you for tuning into the Super Business Women Show here on Intellectual Radio. We'll see you next Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m.
Sheesh.
Have a great weekend.
And y'all, why do you think of me and wish we could have worked things out one way or another? At least we should have stayed friends. Not so much lovers. Do you think of me? We love to hug.